race for Durango. Alexandre Prémat alongside. Lapierre and Kovalainen, the ardent teammates, row 2. Look for their yellow noses, then try and guess which is which. PK 5th, Scott Speed 6th, and that could be very, very interesting. Speed 40 points off the championship lead with 44 available before the end of the season. Might, if things go miraculously his way, have a chance. 5 red lights will go on and hopefully all go off in sequence. Away they go, and let's see who the good starters are. PK shows quickly. Kovalainen.
Staller.
Yeah, there is a staller.
Lapierre, I think.
No, the 2 yellow noses are there. One of them might be Scott Speed though, so we may well have lost. That looks like that's one of the racing engineerings. That might be Neil Yarni. Yarni was quite a long way back in 15th place and through the awesome Eau Rouge for the first time. And there's been a change for the lead already. Alex Prémat has the lead. Jimmy Bruni couldn't hold it down the hill and into Eau Rouge, and a move by PK on the grass. Up the Camel Straight. That's a fantastic move. Really had a great run through Eau Rouge and puts it to bed immediately. So good move by PK up to 4th place, and lots more ducking and diving further back, but it's Prémat that leads.
Yeah, that's a great move. That's really all about being brave through Eau Rouge on cold tyres on the first lap, and he really made it stick.
Good read about Lapierre. He is down the field. Neil Yarni stalled. Can-Artam right at the back as well. It's Prémat from Bruni. Kovalainen 3rd. PK did get by Speed up the straight as we saw. Neil Yarni's race is over, and so too is that of Nicolas Lapierre. They will be pushed away, and those are vital points lost for both the Swiss and the Frenchman. So behind our lead 5, Adam Carroll 6th, Yoshimoto in 7th. Well, it's a very long lap, Gareth. I'm surprised that they've scrambled it so early.
I think that's a bit of an overreaction, Martin. I think they were quite comfortably wheeling the car away to put it behind the barrier, so it's an overreaction in my book.
Well, you can't fault them in terms of wanting to do the safe thing, and both cars are now off the grid. So that's a bit of a shame. Coming up the hill, where they would normally be absolutely clinging on here through Blanchimont, Stavelot, up the top of the hill.
Yeah, that's frustrating. Again, as a driver, we've seen it in the last couple of meetings, actually, when the safety cars come out, he's picking them up there, look at the chicane. Now, he should just go straight in, really. I mean, no need, is there?
Yeah, obviously the field will have to bunch up.
Yeah.
I wonder if there is a way where he pulls in at La Source at the hairpin and then they're released down the hill.
Yeah, there is certainly an entrance, a second pit entrance there for the support pit, so he may well do that. Let's hope so, get the racing going again quickly.
Okay, so let's have a look again at the start. Tyre smoking getaway from Prémat. Excellent start.
Oh, Lapierre was lucky not to get collected.
Well, any time you're stationary on the grid with a whole field behind you, your luck is in the hand of the gods. And the 2 Supernova drivers just avoided each other there at the hairpin. Very, very early start from, I think that might be Fauzi further back. He was going in a manner that we haven't seen really, on a regular basis since Clay Regazzoni was a racer. He used to be ambitious at the start. Good on board, see how much wheel spin there is. Then see a Formula 1 driver going from lock to lock to control the spin at the start. Very good getaway there though. Up behind the Arden car, PK inside. This is Speed's onboard view. PK couldn't get inside there at La Source, but he was clearly having a look. Look at the oil slick down on the inside there. PK nosing inside, and Carroll right behind with his teammate Pantano inside him. So Bernd Mailänder with the lights still on. Follow me. And that is our race order. Doesn't PK getting that moved on Scott Speed up the hill. And those of you who haven't quite caught up with it, the final race weekend, which was scheduled to be 24th, 25th of September in Bahrain, has now been moved at the request of the local authorities to the middle of the next week. Well, Thursday and Friday, which is the weekend effectively in Bahrain. It will be then the 29th and 30th of September, which I think has left an awful lot of A1 Grand Prix teams breathing a massive sigh of relief, because that 24th, 25th date is their opening race weekend at Brands Hatch, and suddenly about 4/5 of the GP2 field have found themselves with A1 GP drives as a result, and every passing day almost sees a slew of new names signed up for national teams. So that should be an interesting weekend at Brands Hatch, particularly for British fans. A whole new championship gets off the ground at Brands Hatch in a fortnight's time. And for, well, particularly the Dams team, which is running 3 A1 teams as well as their team here. That's going to be an enormously busy 3 weeks. They've got 3 teams to run at Brands Hatch. Then they've got to get to Bahrain by the middle of early of the next week to race Thursday and Friday. The following weekend, they're at Oschersleben again for more A1GP action. So that date change, very fortunate indeed. Bert Mailander has got the wipers on.
I've got to say, you've got the windscreen wipers on the safety car.
Now then, what do the organisers do? Even if it's starting to rain, there's no need to keep it out, so they'll release it. But there's certainly no call at the moment for the drivers to come in, so nobody would be diving for the pits yet, I don't think. Although the one advantage on such a long track is if you're in the back of the group, you go into the pits, get your tyres done now, you'll have miles of empty road in front of you instead of being in a big queue. So
that's a good point.
I wonder if we'll see a few come in. They get ready and race again. Alex Prema, Jimmy Bruni under pressure from Heikki Kovalainen, determined not to let last weekend's average performance at Monza get the best of his... into the back of him.
He's done a wing, I think, has he?
For a move. I don't know, but he had a huge slide as he got right up behind Jimmy Bruni on the run out of La Source. Piquet's ready to do him up the hill. Scott Speed, I was watching, fighting off Adam Carroll, but Piquet is ready for his move.
I think Kovalainen scarred his nose, but got away with the damage, I think.
No bit seems to have fallen off it. Early out of the toe, and that's Carroll and Speed.
Speed's just made it.
Carroll around the outside.
No, he has, you're right.
Yeah, Carroll's gone around the outside. But where? Oh, look, Giorgio Pantano has dropped 3 places back from the restart. He's been done by Yoshimoto and I think Rosberg. But the lucky man, well, actually Jimmy Bruni, lucky not to be facing backwards up the hill as everybody came down. But also Kovalainen. That could conceivably have cost him the championship.
He could have done. I'm just trying to see. I mean, the wing doesn't seem to be moving, so he has got away with it. I think just scarred his nose.
Nose has got a big hole in it.
Scarred the nose.
Gearbox, but,
that won't cost him too much. I don't think. That's not a big problem.
Tony Villander being shown as in the pits and in retirement in the Coloni car. The 25-year-old Finn who joined the championship last weekend at Monza. Been racing cars since 1987. He was born in 1980, so that's a very early start. Kovalainen then gets away with it. Oh dear, as Bruni nearly drops it off the curbs. Alexandre Prema for the Art Grand Prix team racing away as Jimmy Bruni struggles on the second position ahead of Heikki Kovalainen. Nelson Piquet couldn't take advantage of Kovalainen's mistake. That's a big spin from Jan Artam. The Turkish driver, like Jimmy Bruni, on the wet curbs, but unlike Bruni, didn't get away with it.
Yeah, just got up on the wet curb, like you said, and just lost the back end, clanged into the barrier.
Now we're saying wet, but a tiny little bit of moisture is all you need on paint, and that seems to be what there is. The safety car's lights were on, but it's not afflicting anybody else. Big oil slick down the inside there. I wonder who dropped that in one of the qualifying or practice sessions. On board with Nico Rosberg, currently lying at 8th place, ahead of Giorgio Pantano, in fact, as they came across the line. And we've lost Neil Yarni, Nicola Lapierre, Jan Artam and Tony Villander now. 4 cars out after just 3 laps. But look at Prema's lead.
Yeah, he's doing well, isn't he? Getting the hammer down, building a nice gap to the car strapping behind.
Now Rosberg behind, jammed up there behind Scott Speed now, having got past Yoshimoto and Pantano. When is he going to give up trying to pass Speed and take his pit stop? Look at Carroll again, looking at Piquet. And looking to the inside as well. That's a great move there at Pouhon. Now coming down here, the big gravel trap at the bottom of the hill has now been replaced by concrete. It was concreted over after the World Touring cars came here. So down here, the Pouhon gravel trap, that was at Rivage at the top of the hill. Pouhon gravel trap is now not gravel at all, it's tarmac, so you can really have a go down there.
It's that high grip asphalt, isn't it? The sort of, if you do spin off, it brings the car to a halt pretty quickly.
But it means you have
better than gravel, exactly,
you have a huge go with a degree of impunity, can't you?
Piquet just getting a bit sideways there off the curb.
It's clearly a little slippy.
Yes.
Camera's not showing any rain, but then with the long views at Spa, they wouldn't. Always.
Whoa!
And that's a huge explosion at the back of the car. Now that looked to me like an either instant engine seizure.
No, I don't think so. I think
or a gearbox, or was that a puncture?
I think he just lost it and caught it very, very well.
Oh, you're right.
On the curb.
On the curbs.
He did fantastically well to keep that going in the straight line, keep it out of the barriers.
At what, 145
yeah,
miles an
something
hour
like that.
plus?
It's very quick there. It's very quick there.
Wow.
Yep, great recovery from Adam then.
Selected one gear lower in the gearbox, changed his underwear, and held on to it. Here's Rosberg's viewpoint. Here we go.
Can't see a lot there, can you?
That is the NASCAR view, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh,
huge cloud of smoke. Everybody checks up.
Yeah.
And of course, you know,
you see, it's difficult as a driver. You just keep flat, and you hope for the best that whatever's going on in front of you is not gonna collect it.
Well, that of course is the great line from the Grand Prix movie, isn't it? When I see smoke or a crash, I accelerate because I know everybody else won't. And that has become part of the mythology, hasn't it? You just keep your foot
keep your foot flat. You do. Hope for the best.
Just hope. Yeah. So big escape for Adam Carroll, but I wonder what that's done to his tyres.
Yes. Yeah. I think we'll probably see a pit stop sooner rather than later.
Well, Scott Speed, by all accounts, at Monza, when he came into the pits at the end of the second race to get new tyres on, or the end of the first race to get new tyres on, was down to, well, the canvas is the technical term, but down to the steel under the tyre. Safety car out. Well,
is that for Yoshimoto parking in the city place? We couldn't make out where he parked, could we?
No. Well, that's Adam Carroll.
That's Pantano.
That's Pantano rather in. Oh, and he's out. You generally do not get pushed away like that. No. So Pantano in trouble. So Bernd Maylander will get another lap.
I'd like to see what it's for, if you can show us why we're having a safety car again.
A lot of drama. Well, there is a degree of guesswork here because we're not hearing from anyone in race control, and nothing comes up on the screen. Nothing comes up on the timing screens either regarding reasons for safety cars or reasons for penalties. So if we do see cars in the pit for a second time, luckily our timing screen does tell us how many pit stops they're making. If we see cars in the pit for a second time, we often have to guess that it is for a penalty rather than a problem. So just to reset the race then, Alex Prema was leading by 3.5 seconds. Well, that's right by the pits, isn't it? That's the top of the paddock. That's the flat bit at the top of the paddock on the run.
Well, I might see it now as you come through.
Bus stop.
I couldn't see it there. It's difficult to see exactly where it was, to be honest with you, but
well, maybe it's the run up to the bus. No, that can't be downhill. No, there's no grass on that side. No. So who's in the pits then? In the pits is Prema, race leader. It was a white car, top of the picture. Alex Prema, the race leader, who had a 4-second advantage, is in the pits. So too Piquet and Speed and Rosberg. Here they all come. Race leader Alex Prema, you're watching him in the pits behind the second safety car, and Nelson Piquet picks up a place, and Scott Speed comes out right behind him. Nico Rosberg is also in. Jimmy Bruni and Heikki Kovalainen lead the queue up the hill. Adam Carroll behind them. You'd have thought after his lurid high-speed spin he might have gone for a change. There's Rosberg and Ned Grau coming out together. Ernesto Viso also in the pits. Gareth Rees, you're reading this.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Carroll, I'm surprised he didn't come in. Maybe the thing that stopped him was the fact Pantano was still being wheeled away, but even so, I still would have thought they could have got him out of the way and given Carroll priority. Now
this is Olivier Pla potentially being, I don't know, not quite sure what we're seeing there.
I think you're right. I think it's Lopez and Pla, isn't it? But I can't see, or is it Fauzi?
Safety car leading the GP2 field up the hill.
Bruni on the brakes there.
Bruni trying to control the field, but everybody now, after 4 laps behind the safety car, champing at the bit. This is the tightest bunch behind the safety car we've seen all season.
They balloons at last.
The safety car is in. We are ready to go green, and green it is. Jimmy Bruni leading from Heikki Kovalainen, but for how long? Kovalainen nearly did ram him from behind at the first restart.
Oh, Carroll at the inside.
And Adam Carroll making a bid for glory. Can't get the hammer down quickly. Well, gets the hammer down, but can't control the wheel spin enough. He stays third. And coming around the outside is Clivio Piccioni on Olivier Pla. Can't pass the DPR driver down into Eau Rouge. Can't go through side by side in Eau Rouge. So up the hill, Olivier Pla has got by him. That's incredible. He got by him through Eau Rouge.
I'd like to see that.
Adam Carroll. whizzing
drafting past Kovalainen. Yeah, great move.
Wow, he got hooked up there through Eau Rouge.
Yeah, I think he had a great exit off of Lassau's hairpin. Good run through Eau Rouge, and brave to stay that.
Oh, I was
Bruni, big shunt.
Bruni had a monster slide.
Safety car again
in Malmedy. Bruni with a monster slide, and just again running too fast into Malmedy and heading down towards Rivage on the curbs, and absolutely binned it.
Yep, you're right, just on the curbs. Gets away, he's on the slippery curb, and bang.
So, the radio traffic now from race leader Adam Carroll, from Kovalainen, from Lopez, Fauci, Pla and the rest. Coming in.
I would have thought so, yep. Missed it last time round, had a reprieve, I think.
Third safety car, Jimmy Bruni, fortunately unharmed. But you can't just expect yet another safety car. Sooner or later you're going to have to bite the bullet and say, okay, you're giving me all these free pit stops.
Take the hint.
But Mailander didn't even get the engine switched off on the on the safety car, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean Bruni was just trying to get away, wasn't he? Hoping to open a gap to the others behind him. And you've got to push hard. And
fair dues, yeah, absolutely right. And Jimmy Bruni, in fact, the centre of a new team, which seems to be heading to GP2 next year. Trident Racing, it'll be called. It's been set up by his manager, Maurizio Salvadori, who also looks after a lot of Italian media stars. Now, this is Alex Prema, Nico Rosberg rider, moving down the inside, up to the Lassau's hairpin. So good restart from him. That's exactly what you want. And Prema as well got away from Piquet. There you are, that's classic stuff. I mean, even if he didn't look like the old man, he certainly drives like him, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does seem to have something about him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Certain special ingredient.
No question about him. That sort of mixed talent that could easily have seen him as a top-class rally driver as well as a racing driver, I think. So still at speed, behind the safety car now. Well, they didn't come in.
Didn't come in, no.
Didn't all stay out though. Juan Cruz Alvarez at the Campos garage. And as they stay behind the safety car, we're going to take this opportunity to rattle off a very quick commercial break. Adam Carroll leads then, GP2's most combative driver, ahead of championship leader Heikki Kovalainen. Stay with us, we'll be back live in a second. Jimmy Bruni getting a ride back in after dropping his Durango car off the road, leading at the restart from the second yellow flag safety car period, and by effect bringing out the third safety car of the race. Here at Spa Live, race 20 of the GP2 series on Eurosport. Adam Carroll leads from championship leader Heikki Kovalainen. Also not stopped in third place, Jose Maria Lopez. Fourth, his teammate Ferris Fauci. There's Jimmy Bruni rushing away up the hill as Adam Carroll gets a great run off Eau Rouge and nearly runs into the back of Kovalainen. You can see how much he picked up right at the last moment. Suddenly surged.
Yep,
he really got that extra bit of draft.
Nicely done.
Stoppers is Alex Prema in 8th. Nelson Piquet 9th, Nico Rosberg 10th. And Rosberg only 2 places away from the points, with so far 7 of the 9 cars in front of him still have got to go into the pits. Racing again, green flag, green lights are on. Adam Carroll from Heikki Kovalainen. Lopez 3rd, Fauci 4th and defending hard already from Piccioni. Then Olivier Pla, Giorgio Mondini, the 2 DPR teammates, both still in the race despite 3 safety cars. So that's a big step forward for the DPR team compared to their fortunes in round 18 at Monza. Here comes Piccioni up the hill.
Oh, Kovalainen sideways.
Piccioni really lining it up through Eau Rouge up the hill to try his move on Ferris Fauci.
That was a big moment from Kovalainen, just pushing hard to keep up with Adam Carroll and try and get a slipstream up the hill, but just overcooked it slightly.
Piccioni trying to get past 2 cars for 3rd, but couldn't find any way to go through. And did Prema get that move done? Did he hold on? No, Piquet's still alongside him.
He's got him back. He's got the right line.
Got him back.
Yep.
Look, the 2 the 2 cars in front of Piccioni, he can't get past the Dams twins. A little bit of after you Clauding going on there. So Prema holds on, and Carroll pulling away from Kovalainen. Well, Kovalainen had a monster wake-up call. just then. Carroll's already had a huge one as well. But the man on the move at the moment, or if he could be, would be, is Piccioni. All over the back of Ferris Fauzi.
Fauzi sideways off the curbs as well. He's done him there. He got him. Yes, on the outside.
Way in.
Yeah.
Lopez the next target.
Brave move.
Lopez is no quicker either, Gareth.
No, that was a good brave move around the outside. It's very easy to get yourself tagged by the car you're overtaking.
Now, Piccioni has proved to have very good abilities in the rain. First British Formula 3 race came in traditional Knock Hill weather. The Scottish circuit is, well, like Spa, either glorious or wretched, and it was a wretched day that he won his first race. He's impressed in the rain in GP2 as well.
Yeah, Carroll is streaking away, isn't he? Over a second quicker than the middle section there.
Got to, hasn't he? He's got to make hay while Prema and the others are held.
Well, so's Kovalainen, to be fair. I mean, he really has to get the hammer down. He's got a lot at stake with the championship.
Piquet and Rosberg. Piquet between the two white cars of the ARC team. And he has got Rosberg all over him. And don't forget, although these guys have changed tyres from the first of the white cars back, everybody's on their second group of tyres. None of them on anything different from the race leaders in terms of grip level. On board with Rosberg. That's Piquet right in front. Heading down the old-fashioned start-finish line into Eau Rouge.
Let's stay with this now. Big lift. Quite a big lift, which is expected with the conditions.
He certainly will. Oh, look at that!
Oh, yes.
Storming by. Prema and Piquet both below by Olivier Pla. And it looked like Pla missed a gear.
Oh, another shunt.
No, and which one is that? Now that is going to bring out another safety car period. That's either Fauzi or Lopez. I think Fauzi. I don't know, it can't be. That's out of Eau Rouge, no.
Whoops, that happened.
It's not. It's Mondini, the second DPR car, where he lost his nose. That was.
That actually happened at the top of Eau Rouge, didn't it? And didn't finish until the straight.
Well, nothing does. If you have one at Eau Rouge, you keep going into the next county, don't you? So halfway through the race, safety car out for the fourth time. One clear lap after the green flag. And it's really a trigger effect, isn't it? Because tyre temperatures drop down, the track is cooler anyway, grip levels are lower than they otherwise would be.
Yes.
Cameraman asking the safety
get out of the way
to get out of the shots. And it's a cumulative effect. The grip goes away further and further every lap. They sit behind the safety car with the tyre temperatures going further and further beyond their or below their ideal ambient temperature. And it is still drizzling as a dissolute Giorgio Mondini walks away from the wreckage. We'll be back with more after this. Safety car as they come up to the bus stop, and again the race leader bunching them all up very tightly. He wants everybody to have a job on their hands to get past the car in front to try and give him some clear air. Now run out to the bus stop towards the lights and the flags once more. They're green. Carroll leads from Kovalainen.
He's run wide,
That shows how slippery it is, and that's the wake up for everybody else.
Piccioni.
And that is Prema. Rosberg kept it together.
Oh, he's not going to make it. Going to find reverse, which is not easy in these things.
So Rosberg picks up another place. Kovalainen leads the race now. But look at that. Behind Fauzi. Or behind Pla, in fact. Big group. That is Pla. He's second in the train. Piquet still stuck behind him, and Rosberg still stuck behind him. But Piquet again, Pla. It's not like he's not got a. Oh my goodness! Fauzi on the brakes.
What on earth was he doing?
Well, he noticed the date come up on his calendar and braked very. Well, he saw three cars skate off at La Source, and he wasn't going to make the same mistake at Les Combes.
He nearly caused an accident of his own then. Piquet wasn't expecting that, was he? I certainly wasn't. Oh, he's still stuck, Prema.
Yep, well he's managed to get it into reverse and lay down a load of rubber, and it won't go up the gearbox now. Well, now that's a shame.
That's blown it for him, because he was really our race leader, wasn't he? He was the first car that had pitted.
Yep. Big break for Piquet though.
Yeah.
Big break for Piquet. Because he's got clear and the stopper is still in the bottle, and look at that. Rosberg gets blown by as well. And Belander's made now. No, Villander's in the pits, so that was... No. Can't have been louder.
Unlikely.
Was that Viso? And he hasn't got any more gears.
Well, coasted to the bottom of the hill and that's it. He hasn't really parked in the best place, has he, to be fair?
No, he could have
stopped halfway down the hill on the left.
Gone onto the grass, but he's trying to bring out the safety car for his team.
Maybe they're going to clear it. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Good.
So here we go. Let's have a look at the replay. Fauzi on the inside here.
Oh
dear. Well,
nerfed by Piquet.
So it wasn't Prema that missed his braking. It was Piquet. Piquet had a huge escape.
Yeah.
Villander went off there. And Rosberg's view of it. Tucking in there. Now Prema did get first. Oh, and the suspension collapsed.
It was a big hit, actually. And given the GP2 stewards... Oh, there's a big old strap going on here. Given the GP2 stewards' liking for penalties, I would expect to see Piquet penalised either during the race or afterwards for that. That was quite a big mistake he made there.
Rosberg looking at the inside, but can't get through there. Kovalainen leads. Carroll second. Lopez, Piquet, Viso. Olivier Plat may as well stop now, frankly, because he's doing absolutely nothing out there.
He's going backwards, isn't he?
Going backwards one or two places every time he gets out of Eau Rouge.
Clearly not happy in the conditions, I don't think, is he?
Do you know what is going on with his car? Well, Plat and Fauzi have both stopped.
But the difficult thing for Carroll there, leading the race particularly, is Prema back to the pits, not looking very happy.
Not at all.
The difficult thing for Carroll was obviously whilst they were behind the pace car, the conditions had changed on the track, and him as first car round, he was the one who had to do the testing. Really, it was really tough for him. So he just missed the braking point for the conditions and skated off.
Always tough to be the race leader in that situation, because you're the man who proves to everybody else that there is or isn't enough grip.
Looked pretty wet there, doesn't it?
That certainly does. That was Rosberg again having a look. Well, there is Kovalainen, Carroll, Lopez still out, top three. Piquet in fourth and all over Kovalainen.
Carroll's done brilliantly to catch him back up again, though, isn't he? Look how close he is with him now.
Well, there's absolutely nothing that Carroll can do now. He's stuck behind Kovalainen. He should be romping away and trying somehow to make a pit stop that gives him a chance.
What's the replay of Prema?
Yeah, I was going to say that. That's how far you can spit a GP2 dummy. Prema out of it then, knocked off by Piquet, but it is still Kovalainen who leads in Spa. A lot of spray as the cars come up the hill towards Blanchimont and the bus stop here at Spa. The climb up from Stavelot, perhaps the wettest part of the track, but the one that's caused most problems, the hairpin at La Source, as they got the green flag from their fourth safety car. Still looking pretty dry here, Gareth, but you don't need much moisture really under heavy braking, particularly down to these low speeds where there's no help at all from the wings.
Yeah, I mean, this is the one part of the track actually looks pretty dry, but the far side is top of the hill is really quite wet now. There's the damage on Kovalainer's car from the start line incident with Bruni.
Yep. Bumped into Jimmy Bruni after the first of the umpteen safety cars. Still kicking up a lot of spray in Eau Rouge, and that makes for a worrying moment.
Well, some of that's actually the floor, the wooden floor. So it gives off what looks like spray. In fact, it's not. It's kind of it's the floor actually, sort of falling apart over the course of the race.
Well, the aerodynamics suck it up as well, don't it? It is very wet.
Look how wet it is here. Yeah, incredible.
Now then, maybe all the supernova rain dancing is going to finally start to switch this race round, or supernova and Dams and Arden, let's be accurate, because three drivers here are praying for torrential rain, and the remaining 14 runners are hoping, 16 runners are hoping that it's not going to rain. Oh dear, that's Piccioni running out of grip again.
Not sure whether that wreckage fell off his car or whether it was already there, but
that was running up to
his
the
car
bus
much
stop.
good.
So for the 3 men ahead of Nelson Piquet, rain is their only chance, because if everybody has to come in for wet weather tyres because it throws it down in the remaining 7 laps after this one, then they stand a chance. If not, then all hope is lost.
It's one of the Coloni cars, is it? It's Villander, isn't it? Yeah, just a little sideways moment off the curb. You're right, but if that's going to happen, that has to happen in the next sort of 4 or 5 laps, really. It's no good raining with 3 laps to go, because even those on wet settings and wet tyres will be able to tiptoe around and stay in front.
It's got to be stair rods, and it's got to be soon.
It's got to be, exactly.
And Bowsy following there as was that Plat again, testing the adhesion limits beyond the track. Lopez third, Piquet all over him. Ernesto Viso, the red car there, in 5th place, and this group just pulling away from Nico Rosberg. I sort of wonder why Rosberg's not with Viso, because he should be able to pass him, and you know, if he was there, he'd be in a position to put himself in with a good chance of winning. Yeah, well,
he's been dropped, isn't he? I mean, Viso just popped on a 19.3, sorry, 22 that lap. His previous lap was 19.3. Rosberg, to be fair, did a quicker lap that one then, so he has actually pulled in by about a second that lap.
Which he needs to, because he was 2.5 seconds behind Viso, and that's nowhere to win a race from.
Yeah, you can just see him there in the background.
Here comes Piquet, got a run going on Lopez. Lopez using all the wet line and out braking up the top of the hill. They're all going inside Carroll, 3 abreast. Piquet on your left, Lopez does Carroll on the inside. Carroll drops down to 3rd. Lopez really getting a hurry on there.
Well, Piquet needs to be careful. I mean, of all these cars, he's the one who's pitted. Kovalainen and Carroll and Lopez haven't yet pitted, so really they're not quite in the same race.
But Piquet is just getting on with it.
Yep.
So that's it. Adam Carroll now must go for the pits. There's absolutely no point in staying out.
Carroll's keeping him off.
Well, with his huge spin, one at least of his rear tyres is pretty much slicker than a slick thing anyway. You know, there's going to be a good impression of Kojak going on the back of his car after that huge spin. Piquet really bold here, down into Beau Rivage.
Oh, Carroll did well to... Oh, it was close, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Carroll did well to keep him off, actually, very well.
Well, Carroll was sort of on line there, wasn't he? Piquet was on the inside, which is the slipperier part of the track, but that was very bold stuff. Carroll's still in 3rd place, but only just still in 3rd place. 7 laps remaining, including the one they are on.
See, Rosberg's right with Viso now.
Rosberg, 2:19.2, is the fastest man on the track by 2 seconds over the leaders and 1 second over Viso.
And that last lap there, the middle section, he did a second quicker than Viso. So he actually is looking very purposeful.
It's almost like the difference between wets that are going off and intermediates that are still holding their grip, isn't it? Although everybody is still on the dry weather tyre. And look, Rosberg all over Viso now. And the Venezuelan driver is not going to hold on. The German stroke Finn, depending on whether you count his father's nationality or his licence application form as his country of birth, or his national racing country.
Nice clean move. Knows how to get on his bike and get after Piquet.
Ooh, big wobble there. Piquet having a monster, and even bigger one Adam Carroll, but Viso having a huge slide as well through Eau Rouge. You daren't touch the paint. You've got to stay on the black stuff, which is not the normal racing line. No curb hopping in these conditions.
Piquet's made it stick at last.
Yeah. So Piquet up to 3rd place now. Kovalainen, half a second ahead of Lopez and nearly 2 ahead of Piquet, but here comes Rosberg.
This is the scrap. It's the Piquet-Rosberg scrap is the scrap for the lead.
The other 3 cars really are completely irrelevant. This is for victory between Piquet and Rosberg. You're absolutely right. Because the other 3 will remove themselves at one stage or another from this playing field. And so Piquet now must use Adam Carroll as best he can to hold up Rosberg and get away from him. Because again, Rosberg showing, as at Monza, as at almost everywhere since the midpoint of the season, he's as quick as, if not quicker than anything else out there. Viso coming back. That's bold.
That is bold.
Well, now, Gareth, on this run up the hill particularly, it's almost like there is as much grip offline as there is online, which is the sort of wet track situation, if you like.
It's at that sort of crossover point now, isn't it? Yeah, you're right. sort of the dry line now will be starting to get a bit slippy. I'd have thought you need to start looking elsewhere for grip.
Yeah, dry is kind of academic. It's pretty much universally slippery there as they race back up the hill. So Heikki Kovalainen still leads. 5 to go after this. He's got to make a pit stop. So has Lopez. So has fourth placed Adam Carroll. And Rosberg with Viso has got to make sure that nothing untoward happens with Adam Carroll. He must be leaping up and down.
Well, let's not forget Viso has also pitted, so he actually is in with a chance of winning this race, no question.
Well, not if they stay stuck behind Adam.
No, that's right, that's right.
So yeah, Rosberg's big worry is Piquet 2 cars ahead and Viso right behind. Dives inside Carroll. Again, it's almost like he has got more suitable tyres. Well, but then again, under no aero traction, Carroll's tyres probably aren't giving of their best either. Don't know how much grip these Bridgestones give when they've been counter-spun at 150 miles an hour or whatever the speed was when Carroll came off the curbs, but you don't get tyre smoke without losing...
Piquet going for Lopez for second on track. So the faster Piquet can get away from Lopez, the better for him, because he can open that gap to the cars behind and leave them to fight with the back markers, or what is effectively back markers of Carroll and Lopez.
Absolutely right. The real problem for Piquet here is he's having to put in all this extra application.
Yeah. Yeah, when the others come to it, it'll probably be Lopez will be pitted.
They'll be gone, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
So he is being held up by the car in front of him, as he was behind Adam Carroll, which has got to make a pit stop. And Piquet, again, tail snapping away from him there. He's really, I mean, he really is as combative as we've seen him all season. This is Nelson Piquet at his absolute fighting best.
Yeah.
You know, but still, he's got Rosberg behind him, and he knows, like everybody else in the field now knows, exactly what that means.
Yeah, I mean, he was really quick in qualifying yesterday. His split times were excellent, Piquet's. And his best ideal lap, where the computer sort of takes the 3 sections and makes it the best ideal lap, was really very quick and would have been good enough for pole quite comfortably.
And Piquet, bizarrely, given his experience and his clear abilities, has not won a race this year. We've had 9 different race winners in the 19 races so far, and Piquet is not among them.
Yeah, Piquet and Speed, particularly Speed actually, because he's been really impressive this year. They're the 2 front runners you would have expected to have won a race that haven't.
Well, Scott Speed has no chance of winning this one. He's got no chance of winning the championship either. And Jimmy Bruni already with a win under his belt, the early leader, like all of our early leaders, chopping down the order. Jimmy Bruni putting his car off into the barriers, another one of our 9 race winners. On board then with Nico Rosberg, there's Keke, and the father of the son, able to watch and enjoy his progress up through the ranks. Well, in comes the top 3, that's it.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, not the top 3, the 3 remaining. Kovalainen ahead of Lopez, and behind him Adam Carroll. The 3 remaining with 3 laps to go, and I think any chance of points...
Oh, Viso! I could see them touching then. Viso, slightly different line, just shortcutted over the curbs. Nearly tagged Rosberg's left rear.
Keke Rosberg will have given that other look that he has just for a moment.
He's done him. He's done him.
Let him go. Doesn't matter. Championship leader is in the pits and will not score. Rosberg has got to make.
Yeah. See, got to see the big picture, really.
Got to score.
Yeah.
Let him go off. Let him do what he wants. Keep it on track. This is Rosberg's chance to head the championship for the first time since race 1 of the season, and we're at race 20 of 23. And Viso is neither here nor there. Tough as it is, but again, that is the mark of a great racing driver, is to understand the whole picture and not just fight the corner.
Interesting line from Viso, very effective, clearly. Who's that?
Prema?
Hernandez? No, Prema's out, isn't he?
He's out,
yeah.
They're trying to... Alvarez or Hernandez. It's,
Hernandez, yeah. Yeah, Viso, great line through Eau Rouge. He's just straight line in that second curve, just banging over it.
Now, and Hernandez is in a very, very dodgy place. That's down at the inside of Pouin. The leaders come by him. Oh no, in fact, that's our pit callers have just come by him.
Yeah, I think that's Rivage, isn't it? Out of Rivage, the top of the hill, which actually isn't a bad place to pull off. It's quite safe there.
So then, Nelson Piquet leads at Spa with 3 laps still to go. Three laps still of the Spa Grand Prix circuit between Nelson Piquet and his first win in the GP2 series. In fact, the first time he has really been in a position to try and dominate the rest of the field. And he spent a long time almost in that position. Last lap, that was a great run from Ernesto Viso through Eau Rouge. Over the curbs, the dry line, if you like, nearly took Nico Rosberg off on the exit, but had the run up the hill to just go by the Finn. But Gareth fully committed over the curbs. In these conditions, we've seen a lot of drivers come to grief with the result.
Yeah, slightly different, because what he did was he straight lined the curb, so he hit the curb actually square on, he just went straight across it. What the problem with the curbs where they take you off is where you try and put the traction down as you come off of the turn, and you got the angle on the steering, and you put the power on. There's no grip. The tyres lose traction, and away you go.
Scott Speed, number 1 here, ahead now of Borja Garcia. That was the pass we saw in replay up the hill, so Speed up to 5th place.
Yeah, he's gone really well, because if you think he's actually pitted twice today, isn't he?
Yes,
so that's actually really impressive.
Which shows you how little you lose from a pit stop to safety car here at Spa.
That's right.
And there's Hernandez in replay. Alvarez, his teammate, is the next target for Scott Speed, and that would put him in 4th place, and that's... Oh, it's just again looking back up from the timing screen to see a white car at the side of the road. I was going to say, is that Rosberg? But fortunately not. So Piquet leads, Viso 2nd. You watch what's going on the monitors. I'm going to have a quick look down at my piece of paper. Viso with only 2 point scores all year. Total of 5 points to his credit. Going to double that and more here if he can stay where he is.
Yeah, he's had a disappointing year, really, isn't he? I think most people, including himself, expected more from the season.
So the big question for Kovalainen is, can he get points? Fauzi versus Piccioni. That is for 14th place and 13th place. Piquet Viso. Where's Rosberg gone? Again, he's gone right off the boil. A 2-minute 23 lap leader at a 2:20.2.
Yeah, his middle section was very slow that lap, actually.
2.8 seconds. But again, Piquet now, all arms and elbows. It's like watching his dad testing in the rain, where he always used to enjoy wet test sessions because there was never any data required, so he'd just go out and throw the car around for a few laps. Rosberg 3rd, Alvarez with Speed all over him, then Borja Garcia, then... Is that Pantano? No, that's Carroll. Wow. Let's see how they come across the line. Timing screen's gone on the blink again now. Well, let's have a look here anyway at Alex Negrão from Tyres Lauda. They are battling for 7th behind Borja Garcia. And that's Alvarez. Speed moves up another one.
Up to 4th.
Again, like at Monza, just driving through the field. Little note in the Autosport race report about Adam Carroll from Monza. His recovery drive in the first race meant that in the previous 4 races he'd passed no fewer than 53 cars.
That is impressive, isn't it? That is impressive. It can be done.
Well, in this championship we've seen all year, it can more than be done.
Yeah.
This is a great championship for racing and overtaking.
Yeah, it is Pantano, but he's a lap down, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
He's way,
in fact, he's more than 1 lap down. He's actually 4 laps down, looking at the monitor. Yeah.
So right in the middle of that one, which is a bit of a shame. I thought the Supernova car couldn't possibly be that far up if it was Adam Carroll. But Kovalainen now 9th behind Negrão and Lauda, and he needs to get to them. The gap, though, is 9 seconds to them, or was at the beginning of the lap. It's a tall order, isn't it? Even at Spa, particularly in these conditions when you're not flat out. But then he might be going a little quicker than them. 2:19 compared to 2:24 and 2:26. Let's say he's going quite a lot quicker as Piquet runs off at the bus stop. Now, no penalty yet for punting off Prema at the restart, but what about not making the chicane? They've been really, really tough on not making chicanes in the series.
They tend to do it when you benefit by overtaking a car. If you don't overtake a car, they tend to look upon it as a mistake and let it go.
That's Rosberg, Alvarez, Speed, Garcia, and that is Piquet.
Nearly threw it away, didn't he?
Yeah.
Started in the last lap.
And at the back of the group there is Niljani, who is 3 laps down, so confusing Niljani and Giorgio Pantano in that little group. So Piquet then on the last lap here. Ernesto Viso in second place, ready to pick up the pieces, but not going to force anything from Piquet. Actually, at the moment, he doesn't need to force anything from Piquet. Piquet's more than capable of making his own dramas. But still, well, maybe because a 2:18.3 lap last time round from Piquet won't get fastest race lap. I don't think credited to him for.
Well,
he won't for missing the chicane.
No, but he did 17 the lap before. You see,
yeah.
Well, a clean lap was a 17. So unfortunately, our timing monitor doesn't record the fastest lap, but that appears to be one of the quickest, if not the quickest.
Yeah. So Viso second. 6 seconds clear of Rosberg now, but 4 behind the leader. So either way you look at it, it's going to be another race winner. Round 20 of the championship, we'll have our 10th different race winner. So every other time they go to the grid, somebody new, the lottery smiles in his favour.
Significantly, Kovalainen is currently in 9th place. Now he needs to make up 1 spot to get pole for tomorrow, but he's quite a way off. Lauda's currently 8th, and he's a good 3 seconds behind him, isn't he?
Yeah, 2.3 at the line with a lap of Monza to go. Kovalainen's last lap, 2:18.5. Lauda's 2:25.2. Kovalainen should get a point.
It's crucial for the championship. It's not so much the point, but pole for tomorrow. That's the big issue.
Well, that would make a huge difference, wouldn't it? Because Rosberg would start from 6th,
yeah.
Kovalainen from pole.
Yeah.
Piquet with another lurid slide out of the bus stop. Can't be much grip left for these cars around the Spa circuit, but he takes the checkered flag nonetheless. Nelson Angelo Piquet claims his first GP2 win, and Nico Rosberg will take the championship lead. For the first time all year, Heikki Kovalainen is passed for the lead. That much surely is certain. Rosberg gets, 8 points for 3rd place. And critically, we're going to look back for 8th place. Never mind Pantano, never mind Niljani, Borja Garcia and all the rest. Garcia is 6th. Alex Negrão, Matthias Lauda was 7th and 8th.
Kovalainen's not showing.
Come on, and that's why.
That's why.
Last lap lunge on 8th place of Matthias Lauda and Kovalainen. In fact, it was Kovalainen and Carroll. Adam Carroll will start on pole. Kovalainen standing there, hands on hips. Cannot believe it. 0 point for Heikki Kovalainen, no pole position. The Art Grand Prix team may have lost to Alex Prema. They may not have won this race, but they are very happy with that one. Nico Rosberg, the new championship leader. Nelson Piquet wins for the high-tech Piquet Sports team, and Ernesto Viso and BCN second for the Venezuelan. But our points leader is out of the race and the points lead.